Tristan, I'm gonna kill myself
Why?
because I accidentally liked a Facebook post from over 2 years ago.
Whose was it?
It was my friend Alicia's, and
So it
yeah,
was a girl. It was a girl's
yeah.
picture.
Well, I guess it was actually a Thanksgiving post from like 2021.
On what social media platform?
Facebook. Uh,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I mean, I don't actually. I mean, I don't really know how notifications work for the most part on Facebook. I have all mine turned off, so like, whenever somebody likes a post of mine or comments on something, tags me in something, I'm not gonna get notified until I go on the app. So I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know how most people set up their notifications for Facebook, but I personally don't like having my noti set up. But yeah, I immediately, of course, unlike the post because I'm just like,
Yeah.
well, shit. I'm like,
I think they're still gonna get the notification.
oh fuck me, yeah. I'm so fucking pissed off
Well,
about that.
my freshman year, I was at a new school. It was a 4A school, and I didn't know anybody. And I remember it was like late at night, and I noticed that I lost a follower on Instagram. And there was this girl that recently followed me. And in the back of my head, I was like, oh, I wonder if it was her. And I looked at my followers, and sure enough, it was her. And I
Oh
was like, oh,
wow.
what the heck? And I remember I went on her profile, and like I saw her, like I talked to her like once ever, so I didn't really know her. And I was like going through her pictures, and then I was like
Oh.
scrolling down, and then there was a like here was like her eighth grade volleyball photo, and I twitched and accidentally liked it, and then I unliked it right away. And it was at like 2 in the morning on a school night because I
Oh
couldn't
my
sleep,
god.
and I was like, oh my fucking god, like that was like I was I was
Oh.
suicidal for the
Oh.
next 7 years.
Dude, like it's crazy like how this day and age when we like go back to look at someone's profile for whatever reason and we accidentally like their post, like we immediately like just have this sinking feeling and we just have like no idea what to do with ourselves. You just like, "Oh, it's over. Like this is the end of my life. Like
Oh
they're
yeah,
going to see it."
to this day, I'm sure that girl still thinks I'm a fucking weirdo.
Oh my god, yeah. I don't know if I've ever done it on Instagram though. None that I can think of on top of my head. I remember at one point I wasn't gonna go out for football anymore, and then you commented on all my posts, and you just kept saying something
Yep.
different, something like it was like some really witty sayings, saying something about me going coming back to play football. Sure enough, I did. I did come back and play. And of
All
course,
because of me.
yeah, and all those posts, I think I archived them so you can't actually see them on my profile. But if I go back to them, I don't know if I can see your comment anymore because I'm pretty sure that account's deleted of yours.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's
Uh,
been deleted for a couple of years
but
now.
I don't know. I think it was funny how you approached me like that, trying to get me to join again. Because to be fair, though, you were really the only one who wanted me to come back and play. Like nobody
Yeah. Well,
else tried to like get me to join
yeah.
back.
Because I remember I had just moved back, and at the time, like there was pretty much no one in our class that was
Hmm.
gonna play. It was just everyone in the couple grades below us who were all freshmen, and I was friends with a couple of them, but still, I was like, no one my age was gonna play. And there was like one other person I could think of, but other than that, so I was like, yeah. And when I figured out that you were like on the fence about it, I was like, I gotta convince him to play.
I can't remember if I shared the like why I turned went back to play football or like the day that it happened. I think I explained it here on the show, but like I guess if I have, I'll just say it really quickly. Like so, I guess I think at the time the reason why I stopped was because I just had like this thought that if I didn't go out for sports at least during the fall, so if I didn't play football, I would have like more time to hang out with like these other friends who like didn't play football. But then, like, as time kind of went on, I was kind of thinking to myself, I'm like, these so called friends of mine, like, really don't try that hard to actually try and hang out with me. Like, what the fuck am I doing? And second of all, I was mowing the lawn, and my brother, of course, because he played, and you guys were already practicing. This was like during the summer, right before school's about to begin. And he, like, texted me saying something about how, like, the assistant coach said that if I start, like, practices now, I can still play within the first game. And for some reason, it kind of just clicked with me that's like, you know what? I do miss playing football. So I got off the lawnmower. I don't even know if I finished mowing the lawn or not. And then my dad asked, it's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to football practice. I just grabbed my old cleats and just went up there like in the middle of practice or something like that.
You had a
It,
main character moment.
yeah, main character moment, and that's why I became MVP of that season. No,
Oh yeah.
I think all of us were like MVPs that season. That was like the easiest season
Yeah.
we ever had.
Oh
We
yeah.
played fucking eighth graders as
We
juniors. Oh
we
my
did a
god.
couple games. Yeah, I remember that.
I
I
don't think it was
remember
a
we
couple of
played.
games. It was only like one game, right? Wasn't it only one
Yeah,
game?
yeah, it was one game, and there was one other game when we thought that we were playing against eighth graders, but it turned out we were playing against a JV team, and we destroyed them. That was the game when I was like, "Is that Spartacus?"
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was their was it their freshman team or was it their
And
JV?
we thought it was their freshman team. That's what it was, but it turned out to be their
Oh.
JV team, if I remember right.
That was a
Like,
good game. I really liked
mhm.
that game. Yeah, yeah, that was like a highlight moment for me that game because it was kind of like that point of the game where we're still kicking their ass, but I think they went for it like on fourth down or something. If they got that fourth, if they made a touchdown on that drive, then I think they could have gained some momentum to come back. But I clearly stuffed. I think it was the tight end who got the pass or something. But I totally read it perfectly, and I just like tackled him right away. And hearing you say that was so satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get tackles that often, and that was like probably one of my most highlighted tackle moments, I'd say. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny too, like looking back on it, like especially my eighth grade freshman sophomore year, I definitely didn't make a lot of big tackles or anything, but I usually like assisted. I was pretty good at like assisting, like slowing them down, and then someone else was like would come by and like take them out or whatever. But my senior year, though, for some reason, like looking back on that and thinking of the games we played, I guess I did make quite a bit of tackles, but I just never really thought to myself, I'm like, oh wow, I'm actually like making plays and stuff like that. I don't know. I just for some reason I didn't really think that. Maybe because it was like my senior year, I kind of like had a good idea of, like what's going on. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like for some reason, I've never been a good tackler. Like the one thing, of course, they always teach you when it comes to tackling is breaking down and of course wrapping your arms around the guy.
You
Wrapping my
got
arms,
to
I can.
wrap up.
Yeah, exactly. And I can wrap up for the most part, but I suck ass at getting down because I don't know why. I've always had a hard time kind of squatting down, and it doesn't really help when the other person is smaller than you, and especially since I'm like 6'2", most of the other people are shorter than me, so I have to get lower than them. I don't know. It was always a hard thing for me to do, and so I was never the best tackler out there.
Yeah.
And like I guess like and I've definitely got laid out multiple times. I remember my very first football game. It was like a kickoff or something like that. I totally got laid right out on like this
Oh,
JV game, and of course I was an eighth grader at the time. But still, yeah. I mean, I was, I guess, lack for better words, is a pussy. And I definitely toughened up a little bit like as time went on, but I definitely could have been a lot tougher and been more aggressive to like be better when it came to, especially on defense. However, offense though, I think I enjoyed offense a little bit more just because I think as a lineman it was a lot easier for me to understand how to block the opponent, whereas on defense, like if I like part of me feels like if I don't tackle the guy with the ball on defense, I am just completely useless for that play or something like that. But there's times
yeah.
where I played as a defensive end, so there's times where I'm trying to like hit these, like I don't know, the tackle or whatever, tight end, and
Mhm.
they eventually just sweep the ball on the other side, and there's nothing really I can do about it. But I guess that's just the way football is, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
You and we played. I know I'm talking so much here. I'll let you talk here in a second.
You're
But like another thing is that we kept switching between like 11 man and 8 man. I think we mostly played 8 man our senior year. And
Mhm.
the one thing about 8 man is that it's so easy doing like sweeps left to the or the right and just being able to gain so many yards. And that's why I like 8 man football. Is so much more high scoring than 11 man.
Yeah, and you have to be really good at wrapping up. You have to. There's a
Hmm.
lot more open field tackling because, like, once you get to the outside, there's no one there.
Yeah, exactly. Uh,
And when it comes to defense, I mean, like, because you were talking about like not necessarily getting the tackle the whole time, but you can still make a great defensive play and not even be the one who gets the tackle. So I mean, you
mhm.
could be going around the outside. Let's say they're doing a sweep to the outside, and just because you're in the outside, like let's say like if you're playing a corner and you go around the outside and they're running a sweep or pitch, whatever it is, and the running back or whoever who has the ball, they see you and they go inside. That
Mhm.
right there is already a good play on your part, especially if you have. I mean, if you force someone to go into the inside and there's already multiple defenders there, they're going to get the tackle.
Mhm.
When the whole objective of the play is to go outside because no one's going to be there, and
Yep.
so I mean, and you already made a good play right there by forcing the runner inside.
Yeah. Do you ever like? Is there any like times where at football practice, whether it was for when we were on a team together or when you played for another school, and you did tackling drills during practice? Was there ever like a time where you did a tackling drill that like really stood out to you, that was memorable, that you just felt really good about yourself?
Oh, like a certain play, you mean, or like a certain
No,
drill? Like, what do
like
you mean?
well, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of different tackling drills out there, but there's a couple times where I have memorable moments on like doing tackling drills. It could be like a one-on-one tackling, for example, like one guy's holding the ball, then the other guy has to like tackle him.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty self-explanatory there. But I remember for me personally, I don't know how old I was. I mean, I had to have been at least a freshman or maybe a sophomore, but there's a guy who was like a year older than me, and we were doing a tackling drill where they would pitch him the ball, and then he would basically run it at me, and I would tackle him. And I failed like really badly the first time, and I literally got so pissed off. I'm like, no, I want to do that again, and so I did it again. I did a little bit better, but I still didn't do that great of a job. I'm like, no, I'm doing it fucking again. Like I'm like I was so fucking pissed off. I'm like, no, I am gonna fucking tackle this guy. Like there's no reason why this guy can just run over me. And then the third time I was able to like completely take him out. But yeah, I was just like, I just remember being so heated at that moment. I'm just like, no, I am going to get this fucking right. I am not going to like walk away from some shitty tackle, like,
Oh,
yeah, but I mean, that was my most memorable moment when it came to like a tackling drill.
yeah, I love. Did you guys ever do the Oklahoma drill all that much?
Oh gosh, honestly, we might have. I don't. Doesn't sound familiar though.
Yeah, that was just the one where there's like one guy like in a 3-point stance, and then there's a guy in the backfield with the ball, and then there's another guy on defense. There's two people on offense, two people on defense. There's one guy in a stance and another guy with the ball, and then on defense there's like one guy like playing linebacker, and there's another guy who's also in a stance, and then they're just anyways, obviously the objective is to tackle the guy with the ball, and there's two
Okay.
people that are blocking each other, and the linebacker guy just has to read what hole the running back's going to go
Oh
into.
yeah, is it like is it where like the coaches like they're behind the defense and they'll like give out these
Yep.
hand
Yeah,
signals?
and
Okay,
and
okay,
they
yeah,
and
yeah,
they point out which way to go. Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah. We did that one. Now that I think about it, yeah, I
Yeah.
vividly remember that. I don't know how I
That,
forgot that.
yeah, I for some reason I don't remember them calling it the Oklahoma drill. They like I feel like coaches make up their own names for everything, I guess.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was pretty much the same thing we did. I don't know, like I remember like when we first kind of start practicing, like when we first padded up, we did like this one thing where we would get a partner, and then we'll all go on like our hands and knees, and then we'll like pop each other's shoulders when we're on the ground or something. I remember
Yeah.
being a thing. But yeah, the Oklahoma drill, that was definitely a popular one. I remember doing that actually at football camp at Central as well, and that was actually a really fun camp to go to. But and of course the competition, it just seems so much more
How
stiff.
how old were you whenever you went to that camp?
Oh my God, was I 14? I think yeah, because I mean obviously my birthday's in the summer, so yeah, I was still 14 when I went there, and it was fun. It was so, but one thing like as a lineman, like I'm not a huge guy, like I'm just relatively tall. I'm not really like big or anything, and so of course like I do a lot of these drills with these offensive linemen, and then we did the Oklahoma drill, and I just remember these linemen I'm going face to face against. They just kicked my ass. I'm just like, oh my God, like these guys are just so much bigger than me.
Yeah.
It was really hard to beat them. But like we also like at the camp, so we played on the actual the game field that the home team plays there, and we did this one thing. I don't know what they called it, but it was like basically a like goal line stance. So like I think the one team is offensive and they have the ball on like the 5 yard line, and they have to like score a touchdown within I think 3 or 4 plays or something like that. They can't get any first downs, and the defense of course has to be able to stop them. And I remember there was like at least one time, because we're like a smaller school compared to everyone else, and we actually stopped the offense. It was like huge for us because we're like beating this bigger school or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny too, because looking back on it, even though like a smaller school, like they'll go beat a bigger school like at a football or basketball camp, whatever the case may be. But one thing that you kind of have to realize is that sometimes they don't always have like their starting players because it's the summertime and they could be on vacation with their family, which I always thought was kind of interesting, because I really wish we had more opportunity at our school to go to football camps, because that was the only time I ever got to go to a football camp. and I actually thought it was a lot of fun. That one thing I will say though, of course, where it was located, it's really windy, and so when we had our helmets on, like the wind just whistles through our helmets, and I couldn't hear anything. So our coaches are like yelling at us, telling us what to do, and I'm just like, what the fuck are they saying? I have no idea
Yeah.
what's going on. Oh man, I like. What about? Did you go to any football camps at your other school?
Not associated with the school, but I went to a football camp at UW going into my freshman year, and it was like $250. It was a 3 day camp, and they supplied us with everything. We slept in the dorms. Like I had a roommate, and yeah, I mean it was cool. I mean we would like do drills. We would do 7-on-7s, and then we would have like after that like we do even more drills. It would just be 1-on-ones of receiver versus corner. And obviously, depending on your position, you would go to your you'd go to certain sections, and I went there as a receiver. And yeah, so we do 1-on-ones against the DBs, and then after that we would do a film. We'd go to we'd do film sessions, and we would go with the wide receivers coach for UW, and we would just go because they recorded all of our drills, and they would just like critique us and tell us like what we could do better and like what we did right, what we did wrong, and then after our drills and stuff and we had like fun little like activities like we'd go into there was this other room. So there was like we'd have individual film sessions with our
Mm-hmm.
depending on our skill positions and whatnot, and then there's a actual like big film room, and in there we would watch movies. Like we watched like Invincible. We watched a movie with The Rock, and
Friday Night Lights, baby, you can't beat that.
uh
No, I
yeah,
actually
it was
remember the
called Snitch. It
Titans.
wasn't a very good movie.
Oh, remember? I don't think I've ever seen Friday Night Lights, but remember the Titans, The Blind Side. Oh
We Are
gosh,
Marshall is my favorite football movie.
I think I've seen that too. But I
Matthew
remember
McConaughey.
remembering the Titans was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a good one.
There's a lot. It's actually funny because like all those kind of sports movies, they're like so inspirational too, and like I feel like it's really common that you see in those movies where this underdog team or this team like has gone through I don't know the above and beyond to make it to the final championship, but they still end up losing. Or
Yeah.
like I don't know like, but obviously in some cases they do end up winning. I still my most favorite, my English is not very good right now. My favorite, I guess, most inspirational football movie is actually not a movie; it's a TV show, and it's called Blue Mountain State.
Yeah, that was your most influential.
Yeah, that was the most influential sports show I have ever seen. Highly recommend watching it if you haven't seen it already. It's a shame it only lasted 3 seasons.
Yeah, you were the Thad of the team.
Yeah, was that? Do you remember how Thad actually got his name? Oh,
No.
okay. Like I forgot what his real name is, but he used to have a lisp when he was younger, and and like it was something about his dad. I don't know if I can't remember if his dad died or something, but he like shared to like his whole class that his dad being gone made him really sad, but he had a lisp, so he said really Thad, and then so everyone made fun of him for it. And then he's like, so you know what I did? I called myself Thad, and I owned it. And it was like for such a funny character in the show, it was actually like kind of like a like kind of inspirational what he said right there, even though it was kind of funny at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember the first episode where they're like running across the field with a cookie between their butt cheeks, and then Thad ended up winning, so whoever lost had to like eat the cookie or whatever. But like Thad, since even though he won, he still ate the cookie.
You seen the episode of Workaholics where the guy that plays dad is in it?
No way. He was in an episode of that show.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, well, I've only seen like the first season. I can't remember if he was in any of
Oh.
those episodes. It's been a while since I've watched it.
So you know how Anders was like he swam? I don't know if it was in college or high school or what it was, but swimming was like his main sport.
Okay, yeah.
Anyways, he had like a crush on this girl, and then I mean, I haven't seen the episode in years, but from what I remember, yeah, he had a crush on this girl, and he didn't get her, and she ended up dating this other swimmer who was a lot better than he was, and that guy's dad. And then he had this embarrassing moment. I can't remember what it was, but it was like a flashback of him in high school or college or whatever it was. And then there's like this other like competition that's present, and that girl is there, and she's I don't know if she's dating or married to that guy, but yeah, that's the episode he's in. And then Anders embarrasses himself again.
I won't spoil the episode, but that's all I remember from it. But yeah, he's in an episode of the show.
Okay, yeah. I know he's also in a current show right now. I think it's called Reacher, which is like so confusing because I think there's another show called Jack Reacher, and that was a show called Reacher, and he's like, and I guess the actor who plays that, I guess he's like playing this serious role, and all I can think to myself is like, I can't take this guy seriously after watching him in Blue Mountain State.
Yeah,
Like, how can I
yeah.
don't know how anybody can.
That's that's how I feel with seeing Steve Carell in any serious roles. Like he's a great actor, but
Yeah.
I always think of Brick Tamland from Anchorman.
Yeah, same with I think Jim Carrey as well. I've seen him in a couple serious roles. I think Jack Black. No, was it Jack Black? Who was it? Maybe maybe it wasn't Jack Black. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird seeing try comedians like who want to like make serious roles in movies. Because I kind of get it though because you know you want to like be more diversified when it comes to your characters that you are in. Instead of just like Adam Sandler for example, he's like the same person in every movie. Like he doesn't
Yeah,
really change. Like there's some movies and usually these aren't his best movies at all, but like usually he'll like make some like fake accent that he's trying so hard to like make sound differently out of him, and it's just so annoying to hear
yeah.
sometimes.
He did well in Uncut Gems. So that was the one where he definitely
I
wasn't the
I,
same.
I actually yeah, you know, I think yeah, he did a decent job in that one, but I think I fell asleep during that movie or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, did he die at the end? I think he that's what I
Yeah.
remember. Like I think I fell asleep and then I woke up.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, I mean that movie's been out for fucking how long now, but yeah, it's funny because like I woke up and then I see him dead and I'm like, oh well, I don't really see the point of going back and watching
Mhm.
this now.
Yeah. That movie takes place it takes place right after the end of Jack and Jill.
Yeah, I still never saw that movie either, and I probably won't plan on doing it.
I saw that in theaters with
What?
Paul and Johnny. Don't know if you
Oh
want to point that
my!
out, but I saw that. Yeah, I saw my brother and I went and saw that in theaters with them.
No freaking way. Well,
I
was it
still
worth
feel
it?
bad for Paul and Johnny. No, that movie's fucking horrible.
You know, I'm trying to think of movies that I saw in theaters that Adam Sandler was in. Maybe Bedtime
Like,
Stories. I might have saw that in theaters.
what's the worst movie you've seen in theaters?
Oh God, the first one that I can think of instantly. I don't think I've ever walked at a movie theater, but I went with well, let's see, my brother and at least two other friends, and oh my God, this I don't even know why we went to go see it. I think there was like really no interesting movies at the time, and we usually always went to the movies, and so we thought maybe I don't know. I don't think any of us were really interested in this movie. It was just, I guess, a reason to go to the theaters. It was the movie. Oh my God, Hail Caesar. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
No, it has like a bunch of celebrities in it, and if you watch the trailer, like you'll see Jonah Hill in it, and like a bunch of these other celebrities. But like Jonah Hill is like in it for literally one scene, like, and they show it in the trailer. And who else is in it? Not Brad Pitt. Well, he might be in it actually, but like Josh Brolin, what's his name? The guy who plays Thanos. Is
Uh,
it Brolin? Is that
I
his
have
last?
no idea.
Fuck, something like that. There's Channing Tatum's in it, George Clooney's in it, and I think the movie's about like George Clooney. He's like an actor. I think he's an actor in the movie, and he gets kidnapped by these communists, and like I can't even remember the premise of the movie, but they're trying to like figure out where George Clooney is at, and like meanwhile while George Clooney's like kidnapped, like they're treating him well and everything, but they socially condition him to believe that like communist is like better than capitalism or something like that, and overall the movie just was not good. Most of the jokes were not funny at all whatsoever, and it was like basically a wasted hour and a half to 2 hours of our time watching, because I remember like walking back to the car, like none of us said a single word, but I think we were all thinking to ourselves that was a shitty movie.
Yeah.
And so that's like the one movie in theaters I think that might have been like the worst movie I have ever seen in theaters. Like first of all, I was really pissed off watching The Last Jedi when it came to the Star Wars movie, but like even though that still had action in it where like Hail Caesar didn't, when it looked like it had potential to have action in the movie. I don't know. Hail Caesar was not a good movie. You know, I'm actually really curious. I gotta look up a movie. I'm gonna see what the reviews were for that movie, actually.
Yeah, I remember this was in like 2015, 2016. I had just started dating this girl, and we went and watched Zoolander 2. And that was the first movie we ever saw in theaters, and I felt like that left such a shitty impression. Like that movie was not good. Like the first Zoolander, it's dumb but it's funny,
Hmm.
and Zoolander 2 is just
I
horrible.
like Will
I think
Ferrell's
it,
character in it.
yeah, but like as soon as like I think as soon as the movie was out of theaters, I think it like went straight to Crackle or something like that. I went to some like shitty free streaming service.
Oh right, does Crackle even still exist?
Beats me, dude. I remember Basketball was on there for a while, and that was the only time I've ever been on Crackle.
Oh, I saw that on Netflix. I'm pretty sure. Uh, okay, so I looked up Hail Caesar, and so it's an hour and 46-minute long movie, but it got 86% Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I guess it was also a musical. I kind of forgot it was a musical, but yeah, like in the front cover here. Oh yeah, Scarlett Johansson's in it too. But yeah, on the front cover of Hail Caesar, it shows Jonah Hill, but he's in it for like fucking one scene. Like I don't know. I just don't remember enjoying that movie whatsoever. I was like really disappointed. The ending was very anticlimactic. Like I don't even care if I have to spoil this, but like when they eventually figure out where like George Clooney's located, like you would think it would be like more epic escape or whatever. At least that's what I was anticipating. But they just literally walked out the front door and that was it. Like I don't
Lame.
know. It was just yeah. I was not a huge fan of that movie whatsoever. I can't believe I went to go see it. You
How long
know,
ago was this? When did it come out?
this came out in 2016.
Oh, okay.
So this would have been like I think your junior year, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Something.
yeah, close. Yeah, I think it was our junior year. But yeah, I don't know. Like my friends and I went to the movies a lot. Of course, it was huge for us to go watch Marvel movies. Like that was like our go-to movies to go see. And then it kind of sucks like when we get out of high school because then of course we don't see each other anymore and then we can't really go and see movies that frequently. We still do when we can. I don't know. I just remember going to the movies a lot in high school, especially when we got our driver's license and we can go whenever we want essentially.
Yeah.
uh, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like recently movies haven't been super great. Like apparently that was a Morbius. That movie didn't get good reviews. I'm gonna see how many views it got now. But Morbius is that vampire movie that's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
superhero-ish, like related to Spider-Man or something. Holy
Have you
shit! It
have you
is
watched the new Batman?
yes, very good movie.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
liked it.
Morbius got 16% Rotten Tomatoes. Hail
Yeah,
Caesar had better ratings than that, that's really sad actually. I mean,
that's the thing with Rotten Tomato scores. I don't trust them at all. You remember like how mixed the it wasn't mixed, but like they just weren't that good. The Rotten Tomatoes score for Joker, the one of the Joaquin Phoenix. I remember it wasn't that good, but the audience score was really high.
oh yes,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, the audience score is what I always look at.
It's funny because I feel like my brother like bases his opinion based on whatever the Rotten Tomato score actually is before
Hmm.
he sees the movie. And I guess I'm kind of the same way too, but obviously, audience and critics have like completely different views when it comes to watching movies. I mean, critics, it's their fucking job to watch a movie. And if they have to like take up their I guess quote unquote job time to watch a bad movie, then I don't think they're going to review it very well. Whereas audience, we're more casual. We go there to like just relax and just see something entertaining. So
Right.
usually I feel like audience scores are better than critic scores. It's pretty rare that I feel like critics have better ratings than the audience score. I don't know. I don't really look at reviews too much anymore as I used to. I usually just kind of like see the trailer and I'm like, okay, this looks kind of interesting. I want to go see it for myself. And then like I'll watch the movie and I'll be like, okay, that movie went exactly as I expected it to. For example, the Uncharted movie with like Tom Holland in it. That movie was it like the way it was laid out, the way it ended and everything. I wouldn't say the ending was like expected, like I didn't predict the ending or anything, but like I just like knew how the movie was going to be. I'm just like, yep, it's like one of those action movies, I guess. Like you just
Yeah.
kind of knew going into it. And of course, I was one of the people who actually played Uncharted, the video game, back when I had a PlayStation 3. So I've only played the first three Uncharteds, I believe. And it was really weird seeing Tom Holland as a Nathan Drake because he's. I don't know. He's a scrawny kid. I mean, I don't know
I
how
mean,
else
he's
to put
pretty
it.
muscular. I mean, I think he bulked up for the Spider-Man movies,
I mean,
didn't
yeah, he's a fit dude and everything, but I don't know. Like, maybe it's just the facial structure. Maybe it's not really there. He doesn't really have any like Because I mean, Nathan Drake, he didn't really have a beard or anything, but he had like a 5 o'clock shadow, I think it was. And I don't know, I didn't really see that with Tom Holland. And then having Sully be freaking Marky Mark, I thought that was a little weird because he doesn't have any gray hair. I don't know. It was a little weird seeing that happen. Okay, there was one thing that happened in the movie, and I didn't catch. I'm so pissed. I did not catch on to this, but. I mean, it's a kind of a spoiler, I guess. It's a kind of a reference to the video game. So, do you know who the voice actor is for Nathan Drake in the video game?
No.
It's oh god, why can't I think of his name? But anyway, it's the same voice actor who plays Rick Toffin. And in that voice actor, he played a small part in the movie as like an Easter egg because like Tom Holland and like this girl or whatever, like Nathan Drake, I guess his name in the movie is, and they land in the water somewhere and they come up on this beach, and then like that voice actor who played the original Nathan Drake, he was on the beach. He's like, "Oh, I used to do that 1.2," like referencing that he was the video game character. At the time, I was like really confused. I'm just like, is that supposed to be like his dad or something in the movie? And then later on, I realized like when I came across like a tweet or something, I was like, oh, he's the voice actor for Nathan Drake in the video game. That makes way more sense. I feel dumb because I recognize the actor and I couldn't figure out who he was, which is stupid because he's the voice actor for Rick Toffin in Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah, did he do the Rick Toffin voice whenever he was in the movie?
No, he just did like his normal speaking voice. But yeah, of course I've always known him from Call of Duty Zombies. I didn't realize he was the same voice actor for Nathan Drake too. But
Speaking of Tom Holland, I know that you're into the Spider-Man movies quite a bit. Who do you think played the best Spider-Man?
I do like Tom Holland a lot. I mean, I know everyone leans towards Tobey Maguire, which I can understand because, he was like the first, I don't know, he's not like the first live action Spider-Man, but he's the one who kind of pulled it off pretty well in the early 2000s. So that's a tough one. I don't know. The Tobey Maguire movies, like those are always going to be really memorable, but like going back and watching them, obviously they're a little cheesy. But I think, I don't know. And Andrew Garfield was okay. I didn't really dislike him, but he was okay. It's kind of funny how everybody is like praising Andrew Garfield now since he was in No Way Home. But what's funny is like nobody gave a shit about him until that movie game came out. It seemed like, I don't know. My favorite, I don't know. Tom Holland is a pretty good job, only because I think he's younger. He fits better in the teen role, which is pretty much who Spider-Man's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a teenager, so I don't know. I might have to lean towards Tobey Maguire. Not Tobey Maguire. Tom Holland on this, but Tobey Maguire is a pretty close second, just because it's more nostalgic for me.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm trying to think of all the Spider-Man movies I've seen. I saw the first three, so all the Tobey Maguire ones. I saw all those in theaters. I saw the first Andrew Garfield one with you on your birthday. We watched the midnight showing.
Wait, can you move closer to your mic a little bit? I'm not sure if you're.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Lean back. Thank you. Is that better?
Yep, that's totally good.
Okay. Yeah, that happened. Yeah, I remember we went and watched the midnight showing of that. I didn't watch the second Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and I haven't seen the first one with Tom Holland, but I saw the second one, the one with Jake Gyllenhaal in it.
That was a good one.
And yeah, that one was good. I enjoyed that one. And then yeah, those are all the Spider-Man movies I've seen. It's funny because growing up, Spider-Man was my favorite superhero. Now that I think about it, like I haven't seen all that many superhero movies like as of recent.
Yeah, I remember growing up as a kid. There was I think the only superhero TV show I ever really watched was The Amazing Spider-Man. I think it was called The Amazing Spider-Man, and it was the 90s cartoon. Yeah. And I just remember, oh god, it's just so memorable. I remember like getting introduced to all these different villains. Not only did we have like the Green Goblin, but there's like the Hobgoblin. There was Kraven the Manhunter. That was his name. He was kind of like the safari, like I don't know, villain in the movie or TV show, whatever. Kingpin. That's how I got introduced to Kingpin. Black Cat. Black Cat wasn't really a villain though. She was just a slut for Spider-Man, honestly. I wonder when we're gonna get a Black Cat in Spider-Man. We haven't had that yet, have we? Like in the movies, I don't think we have. Huh? That'd be really interesting to know how that would turn out.